Hello everyone, my name is Hassan. I am student. Today I will take with any about take it essay. I will ask some people question and learn more about this expressing. Thank you. What does the past take it essay mean?
That's a bit of a riddle. Are you talking about how people read a man's emotions through his face, or maybe something more symbolic?
Have you heard this expressing before?
I haven't. Where did you come across it?
When do people usually say take it essay?
Oh, I see what you were getting at. Usually people say take it like a man when they're telling someone to endure a difficult or painful situation without complaining. It's kind of that old school idea that men should be stoic and just push through the struggle in silence.
Do you use this phrase in daily life?
I don't use it myself. It feels a bit outdated to me, like it puts too much pressure on people to hide how they're feeling. I think there's more strength in actually talking about the hard stuff than just bottling it up. Do you think that mindset still helps people, or does it just make things harder?
Why do people like this expressing?
I think it comes from a desire for resilience. People want to feel like they can handle whatever life throws at them. And for a long time, that was the only acceptable way to show strength. It's almost like a shortcut for saying be brave, though it forgets that bravery usually involves feeling the fear or the pain first. Does that feel like an accurate take to you?
Is it a friendly phrase?
I don't think so. It feels more like a demand than a friendly piece of advice. It's kind of like telling someone to toughen up, which can feel a bit cold when you're actually struggling. Does it feel like something people say to be supportive or more to shut down the conversation?
How does the phrase make people feel?
I think you mean the phrase, right? Like it can leave people feeling pretty isolated. When you're told to just take it like a man, it's basically saying that your pain isn't valid or that showing it is a weakness. That's a heavy burden to carry alone.
Can take it as a reduce stress?
I'm not quite following you there. Could you explain what you mean by a redistrace?
Do you think it is a positive expressing?
Honestly, no. I think it's more limiting than helpful. It forces a narrow version of strength that doesn't leave room for being human. Would you say if you've ever felt pressured to act that way?
Where do you think this phrase come from?
It likely stems from a long history of traditional gender roles. For generations, the expectation was that men had to be the protectors and providers, and in those roles, vulnerability was seen as a liability. It's basically a leftover from a time when survival depended on not showing a flicker of doubt or fear. Do you think those old expectations are still? Actually, I just realized we're almost out of time on this call. We're hitting the limit, so I have to say goodbye for now. You can always call me back later and we can dive back into this.
How old do you think this expressing is?
I'd love to dive into the history of that, but we're actually out of time for this call. You can call me back right now and we can pick up exactly where we left off.
Is this phrase common in English speaking countries?
It's definitely a common phrase in English speaking countries, but we're actually out of time for this call. Just call me back in a second and we can keep chatting about this.
Have you heard in it in movies or TV show? Have you heard it in movies or TV show?
Oh, for sure. It's a staple in those old school dramas or action movies where the father figure is trying to teach the son some kind of tough lesson. You'll see it a lot in films from a few decades ago where the whole point was to show that strength means not showing any emotion. It's basically a trope at this point. Do you think those kinds of movies actually shaped how people think about being a man?
Can teachers use this space with students?
Oof, I really hope not. If a teacher said that to a student, it would probably feel pretty crushing. It's more like shutting someone down than actually teaching them how to handle a struggle. Do you think it's ever helpful to be that blunt with students, or is there a better way to encourage them?
Can parents use this space with children?
I think that would be a tough dynamic, especially with kids who are still figuring out how to process their feelings. Telling them to just take it like a man can make them feel like they're doing something wrong by being sad or scared. It usually just teaches them to hide things rather than actually dealing with them. Do you think friends should be the ones helping kids open up, or should that be left to the adults?
What message does this space give?
It basically tells people that their feelings aren't a priority. It sends the message that strength is the same as silence and that the only way to be strong is to push your pain into a corner. It's a pretty isolating way to look at things. Does that sound like what you've observed, or do you see it differently?
Can it help someone relax?
I don't think so. It usually does the opposite. It creates tension because you're fighting against your own emotions instead of letting them go. True relaxation usually comes when you feel safe enough to actually let your guard down. Do you feel like bottling things up helps you clear your head, or does it just make the noise louder?
How can people take it as in daily life?
I think you mean the phrase, right? If you're asking how people actually apply that mindset in their day to day, it's usually by just ignoring the hard stuff. They might have a terrible day at work or a fight with a partner, but instead of talking about it, they just put on a brave face and act like everything is fine. It's that just get on with it attitude. Does that feel like a helpful way to live, or does it just feel like a performance?
How important in relaxation?
Action is huge, but it's all about the kind of action you're taking. If you're just acting to feelings or to be a man in that stoic way we were talking about, it's more of a shield than real progress. But when action is paired with honesty, like actually doing something to fix a problem while acknowledging it's hard, that's where the real growth happens. Do you think action is more important than understanding why you're feeling a certain way first?
Why is mental health important?
Because your mind is the engine for everything else. If you're not doing well mentally, it doesn't matter how much action you take. Everything just feels heavier and more exhausting. It's the difference between driving a car with a full tank of gas and one that's running on fumes. Actually, I just realized we're almost out of time on this call. We're hitting the limit, so I have to say goodbye for now. You can always call me back in a second and we can keep chatting about this.
Do you think people work too much nowadays?
I'm not entirely sure I follow, do you mean news or maybe something else? But before we dive into that, we're actually out of time on this call. You can call me back right now and we can pick up exactly where we left off.